I finally visited Okinawa Churaumi Aquarium, and honestly, it was way better than I expected. Before going, I had seen photos and videos online, but they never really captured the scale of the place. In person, everything just felt bigger, more polished, and more impressive. And surprisingly, my favorite tank was not even the whale shark tank. It was the huge, naturally lit reef tank near the entrance. Recently, I mentioned that a mature reef tank with large coral colonies will always look better than a younger reef tank, and this tank is the perfect example. Chef's kiss. Some of the coral colonies were almost the size of a door. When people stand in front of the glass, you really understand how massive this tank is. And because it is lit by natural sunlight, it does not have that super blue, glowing reef tank look that we're used to seeing online, but that actually made it more impressive to me. As it is, you notice the natural colors, the growth forms, the texture, and how the colonies layer over each other. It felt less like a display tank and more like a real reef that had been given time to mature. And that tank alone was one of the biggest highlights for me. But of course there's more. A shoal of green chromis. Oh, it's a feeding time. All the fish are going over to that corner. Oh, I guess it's time to go. Time to go, all right. In all of the aquariums, I really like how they use aquascaping and lighting to make some of the displays feel more immersive. It's not just like, hey, here's a tank with fish in it. Some of the displays felt more like little scenes. They used rockwork, shadows, color, and even light movements to change the mood of each tank. There was even one display that looked almost like northern lights dancing inside the aquarium. It was not necessarily the most natural looking thing, but visually it was really cool, and it made the tank feel more alive. And the vibe was nice. And you know what? I appreciate it because aquariums are not only about keeping animals alive and thriving, presentation matters too. The way a tank is lit and framed can completely change how people experience it. Oh, this is cool too. That's like this tank has like a unique curvature. Nina, this is a really cool cylinder tank. I say that because I'm a little biased. They have a lot of these Stackai damsels. I don't see them too often in public aquarium, which is great to see them here. They have a bunch that are just swimming up top. Look at this guy. The Niger trigger just having a good old time. Pink tail trigger. Can you see what's in this tank? Look at these guys. Baby squid maybe? Another thing I really enjoyed at this aquarium were all the oddball fish. As aquarium people, or reefers, I think a lot of us have a soft spot for weird fish. Fish that are not always the brightest or most colorful, but have some strange behavior, body shape, or adaptation. I have always found garden eels weirdly charming. They are just sticking out of the sand, swaying in the currents, and then suddenly disappear when they get nervous. It's simple, but also strangely addictive to watch. I visited Sumida Aquarium before, and they have a dedicated garden eel tank that I really enjoyed. It was different, it was calm, and very weird, in the best way. I have actually been thinking about setting up a garden eel macroalgae tank myself. Emily is fully supportive of the idea, so this display kind of served us another blueprint for what that tank could potentially look like. We are in the deep sea section. And look who we see.
6,000.
No, this is like $20,000. Oh, this one. Look at this.
This guy?
Yeah.
Can you get one of these? This guy?
No, this one.
I like
That's a Japanese Anthias.
I like
That's a really special.
Ooh, that guy's cool.
Yeah, there's some expensive fish in here. What's so interesting is what they got up here. Fathead angelus or sun corals? Looks like maybe fathead angelus. Really beautiful. I miss those corals or anemones. Okay, there's actually a lot of interesting details in the tank. We got lobsters, right?
And those sharks.
And then we got a shark with like a snout. I'm not even sure if it's a shark, right? And then we got eels. You see? Yeah, we got a human being here that's starting to get interested in the tanks finally, which is good. It took a while. And I think it helps that the crowd kind of thins out here so we can actually start looking around. This aquarium is turning out to be larger than expected. Deep sea exploration. Some kind of experiments. Can't read it. But they say it's rare fish. So if even they say it's rare fish, it's probably super rare fish. What kind of amphibia is it? It's really dim, so I can't really focus on it. Okay, we're trying to figure out what these are as well. Look at these guys. I thought a sea pen, some kind of worms.
What's in here? What is that?
We don't know. I can't read Japanese, so. Leon, can you read it? Leon, can you read it? No? Okay.
And the flashlight fish display also really stood out to me. I've seen flashlight fish before at public aquarium, but this was one of the coolest displays I have seen of them. When they are shown properly in darker environments, that glowing light under the eyes becomes so much more dramatic. It is one of those exhibits where you just stop and go, okay, that is actually really cool, and that's exactly what I said. They also had pinecone fish, which is another one of those popular fish in the dark type of oddballs. But interestingly, they were not displayed in a darker environment, and that felt a bit like a missed opportunity. Pinecone fish already have such a strange prehistoric look, and with the right lighting, I think they could have been even more dramatic. But overall, I love that the aquarium gave attention to these weirder animals. Yes, it has a big famous whale shark tank, but also has these smaller, stranger exhibits that reward you for paying attention. It had the big spectacle moments, but it also had the nerdy aquarium moments. They also had a more traditional shark tank, with animals like white-tip reef sharks and nurse sharks. That tank felt more reasonably sized for the animals, especially compared to the whale shark conversation. But visually, it was probably one of the less exciting displays for me. There was just not a lot of decoration or aquascaping in that tank, so it felt a little sterile. Almost like an afterthought compared to how polished some of the other exhibits were. And then, of course, we have to talk about the whale shark in the room. The main Kuroshio sea tank is the climax of the aquarium. It holds roughly 2 million gallons of water, and when you're standing in front of it, it really does feel massive. But even with a tank that size, I think it is fair to say a whale shark could probably use even more space. There is definitely an ethical discussion here, and I do not think it has a simple answer. A few years ago, Emily and I snorkeled with semi-wild whale sharks in Cebu, Philippines, and we had a similar conversation there. The locals feed the whale sharks, so the whale sharks would stay in the area for the tours. On one hand, you get this unbelievable chance to see whale sharks up close and personal. On the other hand, you are changing their natural behavior. Now in our case, Emily almost got sucked into one of their huge mouths, so that definitely made the experience memorable. But before that trip, I honestly never thought that much about whale sharks. But after seeing them in person, I found myself wanting to learn more about them. I cared more. And I think that is the strongest argument for a display like this. Seeing an animal in person can create a connection that photos and videos simply cannot. That connection can lead to more interest in the ocean, more awareness, and maybe even more support for conservation. But at the same time, there is still the argument that one animal is making that sacrifice. So I can see both sides. As a display though, the Kuroshio sea tank is incredible. When the whale shark makes a full pass across that giant window, you suddenly understand the scale of the system. The manta rays glide through the water like they're flying. The stingrays and schooling fish move through the water in layers. It does not feel like you're looking at a fish tank. It feels like you're looking into a piece of the open ocean. The manta rays especially were amazing to see. They looked comfortable in that huge system, and they were not just background animals. They were a major part of that experience as well. So my biggest advice is simple. Do not rush through this tank. Sit down if you can. Watch the whale shark make a full pass, or maybe 10. Watch a race, watch a schooling fish. Give yourself a few minutes to actually feel the scale, and then walk up to the tank, sit down on the ground, and just look up. You feel like you are under the ocean. And do that, because that is the part that photos and videos like this cannot really capture.
That aquarium was really marine heavy, which is pretty interesting because marine is a little bit more challenging, but they're on the ocean, so I guess they can always pump in salt water. And outside, there are some planted tanks, freshwater systems, and some kind of like, yeah, some samples that you can check out. I have the same question. Where's the gift shop? Oh, look, this turtle here.
Come on, dude, look at that.
Look at this one. That's pretty. This section of the aquarium is actually really cool, and not many people is here. That's a basking shark, and they have the biggest male anatomy that I have seen so far, except for my own. We got some oarfish. We got some more oarfish. And no, this segment is not just so I can make that joke. Whale bones, and look at this. We have like these preservations of shark. It's incredible to actually see. Oh, you can see on the nose. You have those sensory holes. This is cool. I'm kind of regretting not getting into like marine biology now. This is interesting. Oh, look at this. These are the tail fins. This is how fast different types of fish or critter swims. This is risky. She's sticking hands into random boxes to see what it is. All right, I think we're done.
Overall, Okinawa Churaumi Aquarium ended up being much better than I expected. The naturally lit reef tank was probably my personal favorite because it showed the power of mature coral colonies at a scale most hobbyists never get to see. The creative lighting and aquascaping made some of the smaller displays feel more immersive. The oddball fish, especially like the garden eels, flashlight fish, pinecone fish, little sharks, gave the aquarium a lot more personality. And the huge whale shark tank absolutely delivered as the climax of the visit. Overall, I would give Okinawa Churaumi Aquarium a 4 out of 5 stars. It is polished, memorable, and absolutely worth visiting, especially if you're into reef tanks, marine life, public aquariums, or ocean exhibits in general. I have to reiterate, this is one of those places where photos and videos cannot really fully show you what it looks like. You have to feel it. And in person, the immense scale is a big part of the whole experience.